Bugün California Superbike School'un kurucusu ve gelmiş geçmiş en müthiş viraj okulunu ortaya çıkartan adam Keith Codd'la beraberiz. Kendisine birçok çevrede böyle bu işin kralı, imparatoru gözüyle bakılıyor. Now, welcome to Istanbul.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be here.
How old are you?
Well, let's see. My first race was 50 years ago, and I was 16. So how old does that make me now? Sounds like 66.
66.
Okay, it must be 66.
And you are still riding bikes?
Yeah, I still ride. I've had a little bit of problem with one of my eyes about 6 months ago, so I'm just trying to get back together again. But fortunately, I get to ride at the schools fairly often in the States, and we have about 80 school days a year. I don't get to ride at all of them, unfortunately, but I still love to ride, yes.
When did it occur to you to establish a school like this? And when you got aware of the situation that everybody was doing it wrong?
Well, I didn't really get the idea that everybody was doing it wrong. What I was very sure of was that I did not know how to do it right. I was positive because I was making so many mistakes, and I was trying to get the mistakes to integrate into something that didn't look too bad. So it was very difficult. So I went, whoa, wait a minute. It's a technology. We have a road, we have a curve, it goes this way or that way. I have a motorcycle. This motorcycle was built on some technology, right? This road was built on some technology. So therefore, there must be some technology to riding a motorcycle. There must be actual right ways of doing things, and there must be some wrong ways of doing things. Right.
Reasonable.
Yeah, I reasoned it through on the logic basis. So I thought, well, if there's a right way to do it, then I should be able to define that. I should be able to figure out what those parts are. And so I began a bit of a search. You know, well, why am I doing better in this part and not so good in this part over here, right? And I started to try to see what the differences were divide. Exactly.
Separate what's going on there, here.
Right. I was subtracting, adding, multiplying, and dividing, right, to see what the common denominator was in the areas where I did well, and what wasn't so good in the other ones. So, you know, when I came up with one thing, I went, this is great. I got one thing.
Good, cool. So that happened 30 years ago.
More than that, actually. The first time I actually realized that there was a proper way to do something, or that there was a way that would open the door for me to improve, was that was 1975.
That was 36 years ago.
That was 36 years ago.
I'm 36 years old. That's how I know. Now, about bikes. Which was your first bike? And which bike was your favorite for the last 30, 40 years?
My first bike was, when I started riding, it was 1956. Okay. So, the only bikes that were small enough then was there was a little bike that Harley Davidson imported. It was called a Hummer, and it was a 125cc two-stroke. Yeah, and this is the only bike I could fit on.
Which was your favorite bike you couldn't forget? You say, that was my lovely, nice, what?
Well, some of the bikes I worked on a lot, so they were difficult to forget because they required so much work.
Faster to ride?
Yeah, they were more work than riding.
Okay.
You know, that's an interesting question to ask because I think the bike that I really respected the most was my Superbike, my Kawasaki Superbike.
Which year?
This was 1976, 77, 78, 79. So Z1, back in the Z1 area. I think that Kawasaki was because I had to work on it so much. I actually sat down and figured it out one time, and it was 100 hours of maintenance for 1 hour of riding.
Whew, labor intensive.
Very, yes. But we had to remanufacture the whole motorcycle back then. We didn't have,
chassis.
the whole chassis, everything. We had to change and alter and fix and improve because the bikes were
Calipers and brakes and everything, yeah, because
Yeah,
it was so flimsy.
very.
How did your wife look at this whole thing during the last 30, 40 years?
My wife is the perfect wife because racing and going to racetracks is something I've been taking her to for 40 years. So it was part of our lives to begin with. She didn't know how to ride when I first met her. She can ride, but she doesn't ride very much. She prefers to ride on the back.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
See ya.
Thanks for having me.
Keith Code, bayanlar baylar.